Ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to Clareabbey, Clareabbey headquarters tonight for the eagerly awaited 9 adult hurling and football draws. Indeed, it's been a long time waiting for this. A lot of people have been talking about these championships, as many have said, as the COVID championships. We're here now tonight to get these draws done and get action started on the 24th of July. So some 200 games will be played in the 9 championships. The 9 championship draws tonight will then be from Junior C hurling, Junior B hurling, Junior A hurling, Intermediate hurling, Senior hurling, Junior B football, Junior A football, Intermediate football and Senior football. With us here tonight is the Chairman of the Clare County Board, Joe Cooney, and also our independent analyst tonight to ensure all draws occur properly is Inspector Pádraig Frawley from Inniscarra. So I welcome the two gentlemen here tonight. First, I would just like to ask Joe, before the draw start, it's been a very interesting time for Clare GA. How do you feel it's been so far, and what you're looking forward to the year ahead?
Sure, Lucas, thank you, Michael. And again, Lucas, the year ahead, it is a year that probably none of us are ever going to face in our lifetime. It'll be called the COVID-19 year. Unfortunately, none of us expected that we'd see what we've seen over the last number of months. But the important thing is, we're here in headquarters tonight and we're making the draws for all adult competitions, and hopefully all them competitions will be able to go ahead successfully, and that all players, mentors and supporters will enjoy the competitions over the next couple of months. So thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Joe. We'll move on quickly now, because I know a lot of people are waiting for the draws. The very first draw up is the Junior C Hurling Championship. The 8 teams that are in the pot are the Banner, Tulla, Broadford, Killanena, Kilkee-Bellaha, Clonbunny, Bodyke and St. Joseph's. It's a very simple draw. There'll be 8 pulled out, and there'll be 4 quarter-finals. So the very first, Joe, if you'd like to put out the very first one.
First team out in the Junior C quarter-final is Kilkee-Bellaha.
That's true. Kilkee-Bellaha, first team out.
And Kilkee-Bellaha will play Clonbunny.
Clonbunny.
This team out is Bodyke.
Lubandiga, Bodyke.
And Bodyke will take on Killanena in the second quarter final.
Good local derby, Killanena versus Bodyke.
This team out is Tulla.
Tulla.
And Tulla will play the Banner in the quarter-final.
The Banner. Shane Meegan's first game in adult hurling. Tulla versus the Banner.
Final 2 teams left in the pot. With St. Joseph's Dover Bearfield.
St. Joseph's Dover Bearfield.
And they'll take on Broadford in the final quarter-final.
St. Joseph's Dover Bearfield versus Broadford. That completes the 4 quarter-finals for the Junior C Hurling Championship. And if people like to jot it down, the teams is Kilkee-Bellaha versus Clonbunny, Bodyke versus Killanena, Tulla versus the Banner, and St. Joseph's versus Broadford. The competition last year that was won by Rowan in brilliant circumstances down below in Tulla. And now we can move on to the Junior B. The Junior B hurling. There are 20 teams involved in this draw. There'll be 4 preliminary round games, and the 20 teams in the draw are the Banner, Whitegate, Tubber, Tulla, Scariff, Kilmaley, Cloney-Quinn, Clonlara, your Martin Fergus, Cratloe, Six Mile Bridge, Airog, Fecal, Smith O'Brien's, The Mills, Mealig, Partine, Rouen, Wolf Tones and Corfin. Indeed, this will be a very interesting draw. As I said, there's 20 teams in it, and there will be a lot of action involved in these games. The first 8 teams out will be A, B, C and D. They'll go into the pots for the opening 4 games. So the first team out is it will be pot A.
Team A is 6 Mile Bridge.
6 Mile Bridge.
Team B, Rouen.
Rouen. So 6 Mile Bridge and Rouen are A.
Team B, the Banner.
The Banner.
And the Banner will play Kilmaley.
The Banner plays Kilmaley. So in pot B will be the Banner versus Kilmaley.
First team in C is O'Callaghan's Mills.
O'Callaghan's Mills, team 1 group pot C.
O'Callaghan's Mills will play Clonlara.
Good luck at Derby there. O'Callaghan's Mills versus Clonlara. 2 more to go.
First team in E is Scariff.
Scariff. First team in pot D will play. This is the last of the preliminary games.
Will play Airog Ennis.
Scariff versus Airog Ennis. So just to recap there, pot A will be 6 Mile Bridge versus Rouen. Pot B will be the Banner versus Kilmaley. Pot C will be O'Callaghan's Mills versus Clonlara. And pot D will be Scariff versus Airog Ennis. So now A, B and C, D will go into the witness there by Inspector Foley. 4 will go in there, and each of them is A, B, C and D. So we'll go in there and we start to draw for the...
Okay. First team out is B.
B, which is the Banner or Kilmaley.
And they'll take on Tubber.
Tubber. So it's the Banner Kilmaley versus Tubber. That's the first, the last 8, the first round proper.
This team out is Cloney-Quinn.
Cloney-Quinn.
They'll take on Mealig.
Cloney-Quinn versus Mealig.
D is the next team out.
D is Scariff Airog.
And the winners of Scarfair takes on Corofin.
Scarfair Rogue take on Corofin.
This team out is Tulla.
Tulla.
And Tulla plays the winners of A.
A, which is Tulla take on 6 Mile Bridge or Rowan.
Whitegate.
And Gathabon, Whitegate.
And Whitegate takes on the winners of C.
C, Whitegate take on the winners of O'Callaghan's Mills of Clonlara.
Partine.
Partine.
And Partine will take on Fecal.
Partine take on Fecal.
Newmarket and Fergus.
Newmarket and Fergus.
And they play Wolf Tones.
So the local derby there, Newmarket and Fergus take on Wolf Tones.
And the final 2 teams you have Smith O'Brien's.
So the Ryans.
And Smith O'Brien's will play Cratloe.
Smith O'Brien's take on Cratloe. That is the largest championship of the whole 9. So now we just go a recap of the entire championship. The opening round, the preliminary rounds are 6 Mile Bridge versus Rowan, the Banner versus Kilmaley, O'Callaghan's Mills versus Clonlara, and Scarf versus Oak. The last 16 will see the Banner Kilmaley, Big Tugger, Clooney Quinn versus Meelick, Scarf Oak versus Corofin, Tulla versus 6 Mile Bridge Rowan, Whitegate O'Callaghan's Mills versus Clonlara, Fecal versus Partine, Newmarket and Fergus versus Wolf Tones, and finally Smith O'Brien's versus Cratloe. After that, then obviously you will be into the quarter-finals, and that draws for that will be done after the last 16 rounds are played. So we're moving on now to Junior B football. Okay. In the Junior B football, you have a total of 10 teams in it, with 2 preliminary. The first 4 teams out will make out the 2 preliminary round games. The 10 teams that are listed for action are the Banner, Kilmahel, Kilrush Shamrocks, Corofin, Éire Óg, Shannon Gales, Moy, Nabrecon, Partine, and Wolf Tones Nashuna. So Joe, the first 4 teams out will be the first 2 pairings for Pot A and Pot B. So if we're ready to go with that, we can do the first 4. And the first 2 out will be Pot A in the Junior B football.
First team in A is Moy.
They're the first team into Pot A of the Junior B football.
And Moy will play Kilrush Shamrocks.
Their partners, Moy versus Kilrush Shamrocks, in Pot A of the Junior B football. So 2 more, Joe, please.
In B we have Kilmahal.
Kilmahal.
And they'll take on Partine.
Kilmahal take on Partine. So now Pot A and Pot B will be going into the drum.
Okay.
That'll be Pot A. A is my versus Kilmore Shamrocks, and then Kilmahal versus Partine. So now we go on with the first round proper.
First team out is Erogue Ennis.
They're in from the town, Erogue Ennis.
They'll take on St. Brecons.
Erogue Ennis versus St. Brecons.
The Banner.
The Banner.
And the Banner play the winners of B.
The Banner take on Kilmahal or Partine.
Corofin.
Corofin.
And Corofin plays the winners of A.
Corofin take on Moy or Kilrush Shamrocks. And the last 2, please, Joe.
Shannon Gales.
Shannon Gales, Gael na Shona.
And they'll take on Wolf Tones.
Take on Wolf Tones na Shona. A number of very interesting ties there. As we just recap the draw, Pot A was Moy versus Kilrush Shamrocks, and Pot B was Kilmahal versus Partine, and the 4 quarterfinals were Erogue Ennis versus St. Brecons, the Banner versus Kilmahal Partine, Corofin versus Moy or Kilrush Shamrocks, and the final draw, the group was Shannon Gales versus Wolf Tones. And after that, in the draw, the semi-finals will be done once we get the quarter-finals played, obviously. So. Now we're moving on to Junior A hurling. 12 teams in it, very simple. 6 first rounds, and after that then the draws for the next rounds will be done. We already do the 6 first rounds here. So the 12 teams in it are Broadford, Ballyea, Kilmaley, Clooney Quinn, Crusheen, Aina Killamona, Erogue Ennis, Inishtimon, O'Callaghan's Mills, St. Joseph's Door Barefoot, O'Gunilla, and Wolf Tones. So very simple. There'll be six first rounds, and that's it. Then we move on. After the 6 first rounds are played, the 6 winners will play the 6, and the 6 losers will play. But that cannot be done until we know the results of the first round game. So Joe, you can start taking out drum, please.
First team out, Erogue Ennis.
Erogue Ennis, first team drawn out in the Junior A hurling.
And they'll play Ennis Diamond.
Erogue Ennis versus Inishtimon.
St. Joseph's Dora Barefield.
They've got St. Joseph's Door Barefield.
And they'll play Bradford.
St Joseph's versus Bradford, repeated Ashes Intermediate Hurling Final.
Aina Kilnamona.
Aina Kilnamona.
And they take on Ballier.
Aina Kilnamona versus Ballier.
Wolf Tones.
Wolf Tones na Shona.
And Wolf Tones play Crusheen.
Wolf Tones play Crusheen.
O'Gonalo.
O'Gonalo.
And O'Gonalo take on O'Callaghan's Mills.
O'Gonalo takes on the Mills, East Third Derby.
Final 2 teams in the pot. Clooney Quinn.
Clooney Quinn.
And Clooney Quinn takes on Kilmaley.
Clooney Quinn takes on Kilmaley. So that's the first round draw done for the 12 teams in the junior A hurling. I think a number of very interesting ties there, and I think that very hard to predict what the results will be in those games. But just to repeat there for people who would like to jot it down, the 6 first round ties are Aero Guinness versus Innistymen, St Joseph Dore Bearfield versus Bradford, Aina Kilnamona versus Ballier, Wolf Tones versus Crusheen, O'Gonalo versus the Mills, and the final round game is Clooney Quinn versus Kilmaley. 6 brilliant ties there, I think, for anyone to go to watch when they start in mid-July or late July. So now we're going to the junior A football. There are 15 teams in the junior A football. So the first team out of the first team will be they will get a bye into the next. They will get a bye into the next round. So then we'll have 7 preliminary round ties for the remaining 14 teams. So the team that's drawn out first does not play in round 1. They play in the round 1 proper. So the 15 teams that are in the junior A football for this year are the Banner, Ballyvaughan, Killimer, Kilmurray O'Brien, Clooney Quinn, Clondegad, Cratloe, Coraclare, Doombeg, Innistymen, Lissycasey, Meelick, Naomh Joseph, Naomh Sinan, and St Joseph's Dore Bearfield. There are the 15 teams. So the first team out of the pot will be getting a bye into the first round proper. So Joe, you're going to make a hero of this one. They go straight into the quarter final.
The team that gets that bye is Lissycasey.
Lissycasey get a bye into the quarter finals. Well done to Lissycasey and all involved. So the next 14 there'll be 7 pairings to create 7 more quarter finals.
First team out, Clooney Quinn.
Clooney Quinn's junior A football first round.
And they'll play Dunbeg.
Clooney Quinn versus Doombeg.
Coraclare.
Coraclare.
And Coraclare will take on Kilmurray O'Brien.
Coraclare versus Kilmurray O'Brien.
St. Sinnans, Kilkee.
St. Sinnans, Kilkee.
And they'll take on the Banner in the first round.
St. Sinnans, Kilkee take on the Banner who lost last year's Junior A final.
Innistimon.
Innistimon will play
They'll play St. Joseph's, Milltown.
Innistimon versus St. Joseph's, Milltown.
St. Joseph's, Dover Bearfield.
St. Joseph's, Dover Bearfield.
We'll play Ballyvaughan.
St. Joseph's, Dover Bearfield plays Ballyvaughan.
Clondigad.
Clondigad.
Take on Cratloe.
Clondigad takes on Cratloe. And we've last two to come out. That'll finish off the 15 teams drawn and get ready then for the quarterfinals after these games are played.
Final pairing in round one is Mealich.
Mealich.
And they take on Killimer.
Mealich take on Clareabbey in the last pairing of the round one of the football championships. After that then we'll be doing the draws for the quarterfinals of the championship. So just to repeat those draws for all those who were interested in it. The Junior A football, the bye into the quarterfinal went to the Casey. The 7 preliminary round games are Cloney Quinn versus Doonbeg, Clare versus Kilmurray Bricken, St. Sinnans versus the Banner, Innistimon versus St. Joseph's Milltown, St. Joseph's Dover Bearfield versus Ballyvaughan, Clondigad versus Cratloe, and the last round game is Mealich versus Killimer. If you wish I can repeat those again, if you're just maybe going too fast for some. Cloney Quinn versus Doonbeg, Clare versus Kilmurray or Bricken, St. Sinnans versus the Banner, Innistimon versus Milltown, St. Joseph's versus Ballyvaughan, Clondigad versus Cratloe, and Mealich versus Killimer. A number of very interesting games there. I think it'll be very difficult to figure out who will win all those games at this very early stage. So now, our next competition, we're moving on to the intermediate hurling. There's 16 teams in intermediate hurling, and this format will be run in the same format as the senior hurling championship. 8 first rounds, and after that then a draw will be done to decide the next round, the 8 winners and versus the 8 losers. So it's very simple. 8 first rounds will be drawn out here. So Joe, when you're ready, start drawing. Some more quartering ties here in this competition, no more so than anything else.
First team out in round one is Newmarket and Fergus.
Newmarket and Fergus, first team drawn out in the intermediate hurling championship.
And they take on Corofin.
Newmarket and Fergus take on Corofin in the first game in the intermediate hurling championship. Rouen, third team drawn out. Second pairing.
Rowan plays Clareabbey.
Rowan take on Clareabbey.
Bodike.
Luwandiga, Bodike.
And Bodike play Killanena.
There'll be some crowd at that game, lads and Scariff. Bodike versus Killanena.
Smith O'Brien's.
Smith O'Brien's.
And Smith O'Brien plays St Joseph's Dover Bearfield.
St O'Brien's take on last year's defeated finalist St Joseph's Dover Bearfield in round 1. Tulla down from senior this year, hoping to go back up with the first calling. Tulla.
And Tulla plays Scariff.
Scariff, a team that very nearly got to the county final last year, take on Tulla. Tubber.
And Tubber plays Cratloe.
Tubber take on Cratloe.
Aine Kilnamona.
And the Kilnamona second string.
And they take on 6 Mile Bridge.
Take on 6 Mile Bridge second string.
And the final two teams in the Intermediate Championship round 1. Clarecastle,
second string, take on, and the 16 teams to be drawn out into the 8 first rounds of the Intermediate Hurling Championship.
Is Partine.
And Partine. So that's the 8 first rounds declared there. Again, like all the other championships, it's extremely strong teams. Teams have been in senior in recent years and teams are trying to get up to senior. So the 8 first rounds are Newmarket Fergus versus Corofin. Rowan versus Clonlara. Bodike versus Killanena. Smith O'Brien's versus St Joseph's. Tubber versus Scariff. Tulla versus Scariff. Tubber versus Cratloe. Aine Kilnamona versus 6 Mile Bridge, and Clarecastle versus Partine. So just to repeat the 8 first rounds: Newmarket versus Corofin, Rowan versus Clonlara, Bodike versus Killanena, St O'Brien's versus St Joseph's Dover Bearfield, Tubber versus Cratloe, Tulla versus Scariff, Aine Kilnamona versus 6 Mile Bridge, and finally Clarecastle versus Partine. When those 8 first rounds are played, there will be a draw taking place then for the 8 winners to play each other and 8 losers to play. So that's where we get on with that. The next draw then is the intermediate football. Again, 12 teams in this, 6 first rounds. After that, then the draws for the next rounds will take place. So the Killadysert, Kilfenora, Corofin, Coolmean, Aero Guinness, Gael Shunna, Liscanner, Michael Cusicks, Nave Owen, St Joseph's Dover Bearfield, O'Curry's, and Wolf Tones na Shunna. So 12 teams, 6 first rounds. So Joe, when you're ready.
First team out in the Major Football Championship is Liscannor.
Liscannor, first team of 12.
They play Shannon Gales.
Liscannor versus Shannon Gales.
Wolf Tones.
Wolf Tones and Shunna, third team out.
And they take on Michael Cusacks.
Wolf Tones versus last year's junior champions Michael Cusacks.
Kilfenora.
Kilfenora.
Kilfenora plays Aero Guinness.
Kilfenora versus Aero Guinness.
O'Curry's.
O'Curry's.
Take on Coolmean.
O'Curry's take on Coolmean. And 4 to go, lads, in this in intermediate football pairings.
Nave Owen.
Nave Owen from the Peninsula.
And Nave Owen will do battle with St. Joseph's Dover Bearfield.
Nave Owen versus St. Joseph's Dover Bearfield. As we enter the last two in the first rounds of the intermediate football, to be drawn by Joe.
With Kildysart.
Kildysart.
And Kildysart takes on Corofin.
A very interesting game there, Kildysart versus Corofin. So that concludes the intermediate football draws. 12 teams, 6 first rounds. The next round will be drawn once we know the results of the 6 games. So I will, just for those who want to check a record, I will call out the 6 first round games as they were drawn. Liscannor versus Shannon Gales. Wolf Tones versus Michael Cusacks. Kilfenora versus Aero Guinness. O'Curry's versus Coolmean. Nave Owen versus St. Joseph Dover Bearfield. And Kildysart versus Corofin. That is the intermediate football championship completed. So now we might just get Seamus Hayes to come up here to give us an expert eye on all these various games that are going to be played. Seamus, and how are you?
Some very interesting pairings there, particularly the very last pair that was drawn out there. Kildysart beat finalists last year in the intermediate championship against Corofin, who were relegated from Sena last year. Without doubt will be seen as the game of the round, and obviously one of the favourite teams will go out in round 1, which obviously there'll be a lot of hard training done over these couple of weeks in both those clubs. Some very interesting pairings all round. Liscannor and Shannon Gales, they have met often in the past in this competition. There's never been more than a kick of a ball between them at intermediate level. Intermediate hurling, obviously, I suppose one of the standout pairings, Tulla versus Scariff. 2 East Clare teams, and there's been a lot of talk, I suppose, over the years about hurling, the demise of hurling in East Clare, and this is a great opportunity for 2 staunch East Clare clubs, to show that that's not the case. And obviously, wherever that will be played, there'll be a big demand in the county board for admission tickets to that particular game, because there's obviously a great rivalry there. Some great games there, Smith O'Brien's have been knocking on the door for the last year or two. They're up against last year's beaten finalists, St. Joseph's, who are again managed by Charlie McMahon. Tubber against Cratloe would be interesting. Conor Early, former Tubber player, now managing Cratloe, so there's obviously going to be a big interest in that game. So there's a huge interest in those pairings.
Is there anything, Seamus, in the intermediate hurling football, you just say, is there any team there at the moment you would say, because of the draw, has got an early march on the rest?
Well, obviously Kildysart and Corofin, one of the 2 favourites. They will, if you did a poll at the moment, they'd be the 2 top favourites. with all due respect to the other team. So one of them is going to go in the first round, and that is the standout game without a shadow of a
And
doubt.
to put a pin, can you name a dark horse that would make the intermediate semi-finals or finals out of the pairings right now?
Well, Aero, you can never write off Aero. You know, they have a lot of talent, they have a lot of players, and if they all turn out, they can be very strong. Navan are up and coming, and they've been knocking on the door since they graduated from junior level 2 or 3 years ago, so they will see an opportunity. And of course, their neighbours of Curry's will also see an opportunity to try and get back up to senior level.
It would be an interesting match if Navan were to play with Curry's in the championship.
Certainly, if they meet, that will be another crowd puller and another game that Treasurer Michael Gallagher will be delighted to see from a game point.
And to go back down to intermediate hurling, is there any team there that you would say, well, they're perhaps capable of going a step further, maybe haven't done it in recent years? Right, come on.
I know, but when the draw was being made there, you referred to a number of second string teams, Eileen Kilnamona, Sixth Ridge and Clarecastle. There are 3 very strong teams at intermediate level, even though it's their second string, you know, they're strong at senior level, but they also are very strong at intermediate level. And neither of those 3 are capable of getting up to senior level with their already first team up there.
Yeah.
You know, so there obviously will be huge interest in that. St. Joseph's, you know, they've been so close over the last year or 2, and they're really working hard to try and get back up. So there will be maybe a lot of pressure on them to get back up. Clareabbey, another team with a lot of talent. You know, they won a minor title recently again, and they have a lot of talent at underage level.
Yes.
So they're going to be hard to knock out.
I suppose perhaps what could be a factor too for second string teams is that the first teams have had very little action this year, and they may pluck from the second string teams to fill up their first teams.
Yeah, that could have an effect on how the second string teams will line out. But more often than not, a lot of these clubs, you know, they know their penalties at this stage, and barring losing a player to injury or something, they're fairly steadfast in what they have. You know, another interesting game there, obviously the East Clare neighbours, but like Killanena.
Indeed,
you know, the 2 neighbouring clubs. You know, and they've struggled in recent years, I suppose, for numbers. But you know, this is going to make everybody that was thinking of retiring have second thoughts in those clubs. You know, and they're ready for the championship.
Listen, thank you, Seamus. We'll talk to you again in a few minutes' time when the seniors are finished. So now we're going on to the senior football championship. So in that we have 12 teams. This is what we've been waiting for all evening, the Jack Daly Cup. So we talk about the late Jack and Noel Walsh next time we come around. Sorry, my apologies, the senior hurling was getting ahead of myself there. The senior hurling draws, there's 16 teams in the pot. Whitegate, Broadford, Ballyea, Kilmaley, Clarecastle, Clooney Quinn, Clonlara, Newmarket and Fergus, Cratloe, Crusheen, Six Mile Bridge, Eileen Kilnamona, Aero Guinness, O'Callaghan's Mills, Fecal and Wolf Tones. If you like, I'll call them out again. Whitegate, Broadford, Ballyea, Kilmaley, Clarecastle, Clooney Quinn, Clonlara, Newmarket, Cratloe, Crusheen, Six Mile Bridge, Eileen Kilnamona, Aero, the Mills, Fecal and Wolf Tones. Again, you know the format, 8 first rounds, the draws for the next rounds will be done after this. So 8 hard games, 8 winners, 8 losers. So nobody wants to be in the losers pot in 4 or 5 weeks time. So Joe, if you're ready, we'll start drawing. It's the first pairing, the Senior Hurling Championship 2020.
And the first team out in the Senior Hurling Championship is O'Callaghan's Mills.
How appropriate, Joe, well done. O'Callaghan's Mills.
And O'Callaghan's Mills take on near neighbours Broadford.
Joe, must be planning to get elected again. O'Callaghan's Mills versus Broadford.
This team out is Clonlara.
Clonlara.
Clonlara play Newmarket and Fergus.
Mouth-watering tie. Clonlara versus Newmarket and Fergus.
Crusheen.
Crusheen.
And Crusheen played Bellier.
Repeated last year's game, Crusheen versus Bellier.
This team out is Rogue Innes.
Rogue Innes, a team that could have gone a step further last year. We're going to do more this year. Rogue Innes.
And they'll take on 6 Mile Bridge.
One of the games of last year's championship, Rogue Innes versus 6 Mile Bridge. Halfway through it, lads.
Whitegate.
And get the ball, Whitegate.
Whitegate plays Fecal.
At least they're pairing for Scariff, double header with Killanena. Whitegate versus Fecal.
Kilmaley.
Kilmaley.
And Kilmaley played Cratloe.
Okay. Kilmaley versus Cratloe. That's going to be some game, lads. Kilmaley versus Cratloe.
This team out is Aina Killamona.
Aina Killamona, who will want to go another step further this year coming. We'll be taking on, there's 3 teams left.
And they're taking on Clooney Quinn.
Brilliant pairing, Aina Killamona versus Clooney Quinn.
And the final 2 teams in round 1 of the Senior Hurling Championship are Clarecastle
the Magpies.
And they play Wolf Tones.
Great history between these 2 clubs. Clarecastle versus the Wolf Tones. So that is the 8 first rounds of the Senior Championship for 2020. I'll call them out now for people. O'Callaghan's Mills versus Broadford is the first pairing. The second pairing is Clonlara versus Newmarket and Fergus. The third pairing is Crusheen versus Ballyea. The fourth pairing is Rogue versus 6 Mile Bridge. The fifth pairing is Whitegate versus Fecal. The sixth pairing is Kilmaley versus Cratloe. The seventh pairing is Aina Killamona versus Clooney Quinn. And the eighth pairing is Clarecastle versus Wolf Tones. I'll call them out again for you. O'Callaghan's Mills versus Broadford, the first pairing. Second pairing, Clonlara versus Newmarket and Fergus. The third pairing, Crusheen versus Ballyea. The fourth pairing, Rogue versus 6 Mile Bridge. The fifth pairing, Whitegate versus Fecal. The sixth pairing, Kilmaley versus Cratloe. The seventh pairing, Aina Killamona versus Clooney Quinn. And the final pairing of the Senior Championship Hurling 2020, first round, Clarecastle versus Wolf Tones. I think you could make a case in that those 8 rounds for any one team could win. Some brilliant pairings, some great local contests. I mean, people are suggesting perhaps the first round won't matter. I think it's going to matter when those pairings are made tonight, because no one's going to want to lose to their neighbours or to a team that you think you might be meeting later on the championship. So it'll be a very brilliant first round games there. So the last draw of the night is the Senior Football Championship. There's 12 teams in it. Again, tonight we only do the opening round, 6 first rounds. The remaining rounds will only take place once we know the results of these games. So the 12 teams in the Senior Football Championship 2020 are Kilmurray O'Brien, Kilmehel, Kilrush Shamrocks, Clondigad, Cratloe, Coraclare, Doombeg, Aeroginish, Innisdiamond, Lissy Casey, St. Brecken's and St. Joseph's Midtown. Mouth-watering pairings and all that. Potentially 5 or 6 winning championship winning teams in that group of 12. So Joe, when you're ready, we'll start the first pairing. And the last of the 9 draws taking place here tonight.
And the first team out in the Senior Football Championship is Innisdiamond.
Innisdiamond.
And they take on Dunbeg.
Innisdiamond versus Dunbeg.
St. Joseph's Milltown.
St. Joseph's Milltown.
St. Joseph's Milltown take on Kilmurray Bricken.
A nice local derby. St. Joseph's Milltown versus Kilmurray Bricken. David O'Brien will have to stop following Liverpool for a week.
Kilrush Shamrocks.
Kilrush Shamrocks.
They take on Erogue Innes.
Thank you. Kilrush Shamrocks versus Erogue Innes. Halfway through it, there's 3 first rounds to go.
This is Casey.
This is Casey.
And they play Cratlow.
This is Casey versus Cratlow.
Clare.
Clare.
Take on St. Breckens.
Clare and St. Breckens have met at underage in recent years.
And the final 2 teams in the first round of the Senior Football Championship. Clondigad. And they play Kilmahal.
Take on Kilmahal. Thank you very much. So there we completed the 9th draw of tonight, and that was the Senior Football Championship draw for 2020. The 6 pairings are Innisdiamond versus Dunbeg, Milltown versus Kilmurray Bricken, Kilrush versus Erogue Innes, Lissycasey versus Cratlow, Clare versus St. Breckens, and Clondigad versus Kilmahal. So in the last 2 minutes we've concluded the Senior Hurling and Senior Football Championship draws. I'll repeat them, the 6 pairings again. Innisdiamond versus Dunbeg, Milltown versus Kilmurray Bricken, Kilrush versus Erogue, Lissycasey versus Cratlow, Clare versus St. Breckens, and Clondigad versus Kilmahal. And Seamus here now, chomping at the bit to give his opinions on the hurling and football.
Sure, like the introductory games there were some very exciting pairings there, and just to clarify in case I let somebody stray earlier, obviously in the intermediate teams have a second chance. It's the same format as the senior teams beaten in the first round will have a second round chance. So Kildysel and Corofin, whoever loses that will still be in the championship. It's the same here. I suppose the one obviously standout fixture is Milltown and Kilmurray Bricken. Neighbours, tremendous rivals, been knocking on the door for the last couple of years. Kilmurray have reportedly been training hard in recent weeks in the hope that they'll prevent Milltown from doing it 3 in a row. So there's a lot to look forward to in that game. Some great pairings there. Innisdiamond and Dunbeg, they've had some close battles in recent years. With senior hurling, there's obviously, as Michael said, all the games are really outstanding pairings, and there's been a lot of talk that the first round is a kind of a dead rubber in the format that's there this year. I agree with Michael's comments. Nobody will want to lose any of these games because there'll be a lot more than just winning a first round at stake here. There'll be a lot of pride and prestige here because there's neighbouring clubs, neighbouring parishes, huge rivalry. obviously, as I said earlier, Michael Gallagher will be hoping that the numbers to attend these fixtures will be increased over the coming weeks as the relaxation continues, because all of those have the potential to attract very big numbers.
I suppose the game that stands out to me, looking at the senior hurling, firstly is Kilmaley versus Cracklow. Two teams with serious ambitions in the championship.
Yeah, obviously, there were 9 or 10 clubs that with serious ambitions. I suppose Clareabbey, have been close and very close in recent years. Remarkable, are hoping to get back up there. Clareabbey have struggled a bit in the early rounds in recent times. A Clareabbey team that most likely will be without John Conlon as he recovers from crucial injury, which would be a big blow to them. And Colin Gavin hasn't hurled yet this year as he's struggling with injury as well, so that would be a big blow to them. O'Callaghan's Mills and Bradford, obviously, is a mouth-watering prospect. They've been they're close neighbours. There's a great rivalry there. Bradford were very impressive in winning the intermediate title last year. O'Callaghan's Mills have been knocking on the door at senior level over the last 4 or 5 years, and just haven't been consistent. Played some good games and then disappointed maybe when most was expected. Your own club, Crusheen against Ballier, that's another exciting prospect. There's a lot at stake there as well. Whitegate and Field is an East Clare derby. Aine Killamore and Clooney Quinn were in the county final just a couple of years ago, and are striving hard to get back in there. Aine Killamore have been close, so there's a lot at stake there. Huge prospect of big exciting games and all those.
Could you give me a long shot for the senior hurling championship this year?
Well, you can't really look past 6 Mile Bridge.
I asked for a long shot.
A long shot, Crusheen.
Thanks very much. The senior,
You'll go home happy tonight.
I'm never happy. Just go up to senior football. Is there any shock in the 6 games there? Is there any? We say you've mentioned Milltown, Kilmurray, Bricken. Is there any game there you could say, well, there could be a cracker of a game there that you mightn't necessarily look at firstly?
I'd be interested to see how Kilmahel perform. Alton O'Dwyer is in charge there. They've made a lot of progress in the last year and a half, and they have a lot of good young players coming through, and they have the potential to cause a shock. Clondigad went back a bit in their form last year, having been so close to winning a title, and a lot of people would say that for this particular Clondigad team they need to make the breakthrough in the next year or two, otherwise some of their more senior players maybe leaving the scene. So there's a lot at stake in that game, and Kilmahel potentially could cause a shock there, but obviously Clondigad will still be in it in round 2. Nobody will want to lose the first round. Yeah. The pressure is really on them. Yeah.
And just maybe 2 other things we chat about, we discussed with the passing, since there's been, it was mentioned by Joe at the County Board meeting, the passing of 2 great Gaels in Noel Walsh and Jack Daly. Would you like to say something about those 2 men and the services they gave to the association? Well,
obviously they gave great service to serve the county at very many levels. I suppose Noel Welsh fought for Clare football when it wasn't popular. When Clare football was rated as a third party, we'll say, because all Cork, Kerry and Munster, but Noel refused to accept that, and he fought for an open draw, and a lot of credit must go to him for the fact that a lot of what were termed weaker counties are now challenging for honours, not just in Munster but throughout the country, and he did an awful lot for that. Jack Daly was a great chairman, went on to support the game in every way, the Senior Football Championship. His trophy is presented for that every year, and there's a lot of great battles for that. So, both men have given wonderfully to Clare GA, and it's right that they should be honoured.
I suppose before we conclude, we probably need to mention, all the work that clubs have done throughout the county this year and throughout the country when the lockdown was on, all the work they did for good causes and charities.
Well, as the chairman referred to at the meeting the other night, I suppose the GA clubs were shown in their best light throughout the past 3 months. When this pandemic was there, they came to the aid of everybody. They supported everybody within their community. They helped out with delivering goods. They helped out with the elderly. The true community spirit came out amongst the GA clubs, and for that I think that they deserve tremendous credit. And probably playing championship is maybe secondary to all that, but the good work they did for every parish, has been huge, well documented at this stage.
Joe, final word from yourself as county chairman.
Look, as you said, Michael and Seamus has hit on it there. Some very interesting draws in the first round of all championships.
Yes.
Right down from senior football back down to junior C hurling. hopefully we'll have a brilliant season of hurling and football and games during the year. And as Seamus said, hopefully our treasurer will be happy with some of the draws here tonight. I wish the best of luck to all teams, management teams, in the forthcoming championships. We all know the championship is really what it's all about, and that brings out the best in the community, in the parish, and definitely in the GA club. So all I want to do is wish them all the best of luck in 2020.
Thanks.
And finally, Michael, I'd like to thank you for your work here tonight, and we don't want to forget Inspector Pádraig Frawley, our independent person here tonight, who oversaw the draw, and thank you very much, Pádraig, for your commitment and being here tonight.
That's good. Thank you, Joe, and thank you, Pádraig, again for coming. Again, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching this throughout the world, or even home and abroad, I suppose it brings us back to normality in certain ways, a new normal as they call it. I suppose all we can do is ask for clubs to adhere to social distance, to do all that the GA have been asking in terms of the health and well-being of each other, and make sure that if you have any health issues to get looked at, and don't, I suppose, put your own or your family at risk. Again, I think in 3 or 4 weeks' time, we're going to brilliant action in the fields of this county. As I said, there's going to be 200 games are going to be played. Would we have got that? Would we have taken 50 games a month ago? Hopefully when the underage hurling and football and camogie days football gets going, that we'll have 2 or 3 months of great activity throughout the county, that everybody rolls in, that everyone enjoys the games, and then we can get ready to support our county teams in action at all levels. So again, thanks very much for listening tonight. Thanks to all the people who put this draw together. So it's a lot of work, and I hope that we will be back again in 4 or 5 weeks' time, getting ready for the next draws again. Thank you again from Clareabbey here tonight, and well done to everybody.